Hi everyone, I'm Jacqueline Hunt from ASD Life Coaches, and today we're diving into a topic that affects a large percentage of autistic adults, alexithymia, or difficulty identifying and describing your own emotional experience. Understanding alexithymia can change your self-awareness, your relationships, and your day-to-day emotional well-being. So let's break this down in a clear and compassionate way. Alexithymia is not a disorder. It's simply a difference in how some autistic people process and interpret emotions. So here's the simplest way I explain it to my clients. Alexithymia is when your body feels the emotion, but your brain doesn't label it right away. So you might feel things like tension or shakiness. Maybe your stomach has some discomfort. Maybe you feel heat in your chest area. There might be a heavy or numb feeling, but you have no words for what's going on. Many autistic adults with alexithymia only know something is wrong when they're overwhelmed or they're shutting down, or maybe someone points out and says, "Are you okay?" This can be an incredibly frustrating experience, not because you lack emotions, but because your internal signals are muted or delayed or confusing you. So let's clear up a common misconception. Alexithymia does not mean you don't feel emotions. Autistic adults often feel emotions very deeply, sometimes more intensely than their neurotypical counterparts. The challenge is in identifying the emotion, understanding it, communicating that emotion to others. So you may come across as calm, stoic, ineffective, but in reality, you're feeling overwhelmed, hurt, sad, or even scared. This is a communication challenge, not an emotional deficit. There are 3 key reasons autistic adults experience alexithymia. One is interoception differences. So interoception is your internal body awareness system. This sense, if it's under-responsive, you might not notice if you're hungry. Maybe you've been working for hours on end and you haven't eaten breakfast or lunch and it's way past dinner time, but you still don't feel that sensation of hunger. Maybe it's fatigue. Maybe you've gone all day long, running around, working hard, checking all the boxes, and you don't realize how tired you are until you collapse. You may not feel thirst. Maybe you become dehydrated because you're not getting that thirst sensation. Might not feel anxiety until it's so overwhelming, you're crushed. You may not notice excitement. And there are so many things that can cause excitement. Maybe a new show or you just got a promotion. But instead of processing and understanding these emotions as they happen, instead, all sensations can blend into one general feeling that something is happening. Next, there's the emotional processing delays. For many autistic adults, emotions take longer to move from the body to the brain to the language that comes out of your mouth. By the time the emotion clicks, the moment may have already passed. Then there's masking and social conditioning. Growing up, many autistic adults learn to hide or downplay emotions to appear more appropriate. This is called masking, and you can check out my masking video. Over time, you lose touch with your inner cues, and this becomes a survival skill, not an internal or external flaw. So here are some examples I commonly see in coaching. I call this one the sudden meltdown. A client says, "I was fine, and then I wasn't." But when we unpack it, there were signs of stress for hours. They just couldn't identify them until their body took over. Example 2, the "I don't know what I'm feeling" conversation. So maybe your partner asks, "What's wrong?" And the client says nothing. And then your partner insists and presses harder. You seem upset. Client, I really don't know, because they really don't know. That can be very frustrating when you're in a relationship and one partner can sense your internal experience better than you can. Another example that I like are emotional delays. So an argument happens, you feel nothing in the moment. 3 hours later, you realize, oh, that actually hurt me. This delay is extremely common. Alexathymia won't disappear, but you can build emotional awareness slowly, gently, and effectively. Here are the techniques I use with my clients. One, we're going to start with physical cues. So instead of asking, how do I feel? Ask, what do I feel in my body? Start labeling your physical sensations. Tight chest, fast heartbeat, heavy limbs, maybe a fluttery stomach, numbness. Do you feel pressure in your head? These are your first clues that you're feeling something. Then what you want to do next is match those sensations to emotions. You could create a little chart. Fast heartbeat leads to anxiety or excitement. Fast heartbeat can be indicative of many things, but start creating a chart of what it means for you. A heavy chest, for example, that could mean sadness or emotional exhaustion. Tension could mean anger or overwhelm. That numbness in your body may be shutdown or emotional fatigue. This creation of a chart that you can look at creates a bridge between your body and your brain. Another thing you can do is use a short, simple emotional vocabulary. So I always start with the basics. Then allow delayed processing. Tell yourself and tell others around you, I need time. I'll come back when I understand how I'm feeling. This is completely healthy and valid. Track your patterns over time. So alexithymia becomes easier when you learn your own personal patterns. Find out, discover what events overwhelm you. What situations trigger shutdowns? What stress signs look like for you? Awareness builds slowly but meaningfully. And many neurotypical counterparts do this pretty naturally. They don't have to think about it as hard. I find that when you spend time connecting with your body and your brain, you actually become much more talented at understanding yourself and your emotions and how to express them to others. So, if you experience alexithymia, please know this. You are not broken and you are not emotionally lacking. Your emotions are real. Your experiences are real. And with the right tools, you can create a strong, compassionate connection to your inner world. Now, if you found this helpful, please feel free to like and subscribe. I have so much more content coming for autistic adults, created with compassion, clarity, and lived understanding. With over 15 years of experience, if you want some one-on-one support, visit asdlifecoaches.com to learn more about our coaching services. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.